How's it going? Monday morning, August 9th, 2021, episode 251, focusing on Hall of Fame pitchers. This is a series. This is my third of 5 episodes I will be doing on pitching. And after the 5 episodes, I'm going to make a determination who are the 10 greatest pitchers of all time. And in order to do that, you have to evaluate winning percentage, wins. You have to evaluate innings pitched. This episode will evaluate and analyze strikeouts per game and total strikeouts. Next episode, I'll do ERA, and then the last episode will be shutouts. After I'm done with those 5 episodes, I'm going to look, who do I consider the greatest pitchers of all time? Who do you consider? You got about 83 that are in the Hall of Fame pitchers. Who would you pick the top 10? All right, let's look at strikeouts in this episode. Who are the most dominant strikeout pitchers of all time? That's really a factor in order to stay in the game and pitch innings and also to win the game, right? If you can strike out batters. We know that Nolan Ryan has the most career strikeouts, 5,714 in 27 years. Amazing. Number 2, Randy Johnson, 4,875. 3, Steve Carlton, 4,136. Then you got Bert Blyleven, 3,701. Tom Seaver, 3,640. Don Sutton, 3,574. Gaylord Perry, 3,534. Walter Johnson, 3,508. Greg Maddux, 3,371. And Phil Niekro, number 10, 3,342. Have you noticed that on the top 10, 9 of them are new school pitchers? Only one old school, and that was Walter Johnson. So back in the olden days, they didn't strike out as many players, but they pitched more innings. Because remember the last episode, the top 10 were all old school pitchers who had the most innings and averaged the most innings per start. But in strikeouts, 9 out of the 10 are new school pitchers after 1950. And they're the ones that strike out a lot of batters. What gives? Anyways, I want to analyze who averaged the most strikeouts per game pitched. You know who's number 1? Randy Johnson averaged 7.9 strikeouts per games pitched. He had 618 games, and he ended up with 4,875 strikeouts. That comes out to 7.9 strikeouts per game. Number 2, Nolan Ryan. He had more games and more strikeouts, but his average is a little less than Randy Johnson. So he's number 2. 807 games, 5,714 strikeouts, gives him 7.1 strikeouts per game. Randy Johnson averaged 7.9. I think Nolan Ryan had some relief pitch appearances, but still. Number 3 on the list, Pedro Martinez. 476 games, 3,154 strikeouts, 6.6 strikeouts per games pitched. 4, Sandy Koufax. 397 games, 2,396 strikeouts, 6.0 strikeouts per game. 5 on the list, Bob Gibson. 528 games, 3,117 strikeouts, 5.9 strikeouts per game. 6, Rube Waddell, old school. 407 games, 2,316 strikeouts, 5.6 strikeouts per game. 7, Steve Carlton, 741 games, 4,136 strikeouts, 5.5 strikeouts per game. 8, Tom Seaver, 656 games, 3,640 strikeouts, 5.5 strikeouts per game. 9, Bert Blyleven, 692 games, 3,701 strikeouts, 5.3 strikeouts per game, average. And number 10, Juan Marichal, 471 games, 2,303 strikeouts, 4.8 strikeouts per game. Okay, I've got 50 pitchers. So from 11 and through 50, I'll just name the pitcher and the strikeouts per game average. I won't list the games and the number of strikeouts for their career. It would take too long. So let's go number 11 is Jim Bunning. Then you got Ferguson Jenkins and Don Drysdale, average 4.8 strikeouts. And you've got Don Sutton at 4.6. Then you have Gaylord Perry, Greg Maddux, Bob Feller, Jack Morris, 4.5 strikeouts per game. Walter Johnson, Tim Keefe, John Smoltz, 4.3. Then you have Amos Russi, 4.2. Then you have Phil Necro, Ed Walsh, Catfit Hunter, Lefty Gomez, Jim Palmer, 4.0. And you have Christy Mathewson, Whitey Ford, 3.9. And you have Tom Glavine, 3.8. And you have John Clarkson, Chief Bender, Hal Newsizer, and Dizzy Dean, 3.7. And you have Lefty Grove and Ed Plank, 3.6. Robin Roberts, Charlie Radburn, 3.5. Cy Young, 3.1. Way down there, number 39 on the list. He had 906 games and only 2,800 strikeouts. See, that's why he's at 3.1. All right, Warren Spahn, early win, 3.4. Jack Chesborough and Red Ruffing, 3.2. Pete Alexander, Carl Hubble, 3.1. Kid Nichols, 3.0. Mordecai Brown, Bob Lemon, 2.8. And then Pud Calvin, 2.6. And Joe McKinney, 2.3. So those are the top 50 average of strikeouts per game. There are probably other pitchers that had better average, but not as many games pitched. What do you think? Top 10 again, as far as average. And there's two guys that had over 7 strikeouts per game for career games pitched. Randy Johnson, 7.9, and Nolan Ryan, 7.1. They were strikeout kings. Whew. So the top 10, Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, Pedro Martinez, Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, Rube Waddell, Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, Bert Blyleven, and Juan Marichal. Interesting how they average, how many strikeouts per game. Now, if some of these other guys like Walter Johnson, he averaged 4.3 strikeouts per game, but he pitched in 802 games. And he had 3,509 strikeouts. That's why he's down to 4.3. I think some of those games he came in relief. So the game, maybe it was 1 or 2 innings, but it counts as a game. See, if we did strikeouts per inning, that would be a lot to calculate. But there's no need to do that. You do games played and total strikeouts for career. Divide it, and you'll come out with the average. That's why Walter Johnson's a little lower. Christy Mathewson's low, 3.9. Whitey Ford, he had the best winning percentage, remember? But he's at 3.9. Some of these other guys, like Lefty Grove was dominant. Bob Feller was dominant, too. Don Drysdale was dominant. Jim Palmer. So that's how I did the calculation in the formula. Games played, career strikeouts, divide it, and you get strikeouts per game. Randy Johnson comes out on top. All right. So this is another episode. It's my third episode. I did winning percentage, then I did innings pitched, and this one's strikeouts. Next episode will be ERA, earned run average. We'll see who comes out on top of that. And then the last episode will be shutouts. Those 5 episodes, I'm gonna look and say who is the most dominant pitcher, or who are the 10 greatest pitchers of all time. Those 5 categories. Maybe I'll do a category on complete games too, because that's a factor too, right? So maybe I'll add another one. But after I'm done with that, I will reveal the 10 greatest pitchers of all time. Okay, so thanks for watching this episode. I'm out.